always do. Oh, that's there. Okay. Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome to Friendly Fire episode 8. Tonight I am joined by Punisher from Walking Dead Army, correct? And Mr. Fets from 11 Bravo Gaming, a retired Battlefield group, right? I'm kidding. That's your poke to put more videos out. And of course, Mr. the Puppy, who, what are you? You're like inactive slash on your way back slash...
On my way back, dude. Everything's in the works. Like I said, I've been working on everything, and things are back in the works. Where
you just got a cap card, right? So
yeah, I got my cap card, and I was having a hard time finding a schedule to actually record commentary since the new.
We'll do that. Talk to Feds. He knows.
Yeah, I got a new kid, so it's hard to find time when the house is quiet. But Kulprit actually was kind enough to instill a little bit of golden advice on me for that, so we should be good on that.
How much is your desire, sir? Wake up before they do. It's the best time of the day, man. To do anything. It's not just YouTube. It's just even just to sit with a cup of coffee. It's keep your sanity. But this is not a parenting podcast, so
nope.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around. We like to go around, talk about a little bit what we've been gaming, that kind of thing. Gives people a little perspective on what type of gamers you are. Tried to load the deck a little bit with some Battlefield 4 guys, obviously, because that was going to be our big topic tonight, but that's now got trumped by Hardline a little bit, so we're going to talk about that first probably, but it'll segue in nicely. I try to balance it, console and PC, to not be, yelled at for being biased.
That's why I'm here.
Well, and if Fets too, he's a little diehard, I try to convert all of you guys, and none of you guys will do it, so it's okay. I respect that. Yeah. And Punisher, I know you've been big on the CTE, correct? You're kind of my ringer for that. And you've got a little background in Q&A, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Just from the way you tweet and you do your videos, or maybe you said it in a video or something. I have that in my head anyway. So, Pun, I'll lead off with you. Just give them a little introduction. Just to let you guys know, I will put all the links in the description. You guys can check these guys out. If you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch doesn't really let me do that. I have their Twitter handles on the screen. You can find their YouTube channels via that, correct? You guys all have that in your profile, I'm kind of assuming. If they want to seek you out, otherwise take it away. Tell us a little about yourself, what you've been playing, and we'll move around the horn.
All right, well, I am WDA Punisher, also known as Paul, and I am retired Navy, 20 years, and I have been playing a lot of Battlefield 4 and a lot of Titanfall. I am a community manager for Walking Dead Army and the staff video editor for Don't Revive Me Bro. So, and play on PC Master Race.
You don't have to say that around here. It's assumed.
So,
Puppy's just our whipping boy.
Yeah.
I've been up tonight, man.
I've been concentrating a lot of my time, like Kulprit said, in the CTE. So, and seeing a lot of good results out of that. So,
good. We will get to that. We will get to that. And if you want to say a little bit about Walking Dead Army, you could do that too. I know it's
they are a PC gaming clan community that has been around since 2002. They started out playing Ghost Recon and Raven Shield, and got into doing competitive with that, and also competitive with America's Army.
Oh boy, that's right.
And then we got into Battlefield 2, and that's where I kind of came into the fold toward the tail end of Ghost Recon, and then into Battlefield 2, and I've been there ever since 2005. But we're I would say we're a small to medium clan. We got about 30 active members right now, and we vary, different games. We got guys that are playing, Battlefield and Titanfall. There are a lot of people right now are playing DayZ and Arma 3. So a lot of guys are interested in that. And we even have a couple guys that are in the World of Warcraft. So.
Oh gosh.
But yeah. Yep. So, and we're an adult clan. We don't allow anybody under the age of 18, and for obvious reasons, people like to post things in our forums that are adult in nature.
I'll be right back. I'm going to register. All right, and Mr. Fets, what's going on with you, sir?
Oh, not much. So I go by Fets online, 5 years U.S. Army, and our channel kind of focuses around that. I play Battlefield, I play Titanfall, I did play Call of Duty before it completely destroyed itself.
Is that COD 4?
My favorite Call of Duty is actually Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
really?
Much as people hate it, I love it. But I am part of the console master race.
That's right.
play on PC because your skill is not good enough to compete on a level playing field. So it's okay.
Yeah,
we can't all be good.
This podcast is sponsored by Scuff Controllers with the turbo button. Just going to say that right now. So, yes, but how about that balance playing
Have
field?
you ever priced a Scuff controller? I ain't using one of those.
No, but I'm just, you know, puppy knows. That's my retort. I think to you, too. Every time you guys say that, I do. But see, this is Twitter on live cameras, basically. That's all this is. Yeah, and Ninja Squad. I mean, where is Ninja Squad? I've been waiting to get you on here to ask you about this. Commander mode kind of killed Ninja Squad, didn't it?
No, we recorded in-game commentary on Xbox One.
Oh,
because you pump the audio through the controller now instead of the HDMI cable, and they've really made it difficult. We've been trying some different options, and if you use your Kinect for your microphone, you can do it, but then your audio is really shitty. So.
Yeah, really. I didn't know that. I just thought you guys weren't playing much of it. But I guess you could have done it with Titanfall too, right?
So Titanfall's fun, but since they updated the servers, I found the performance on Battlefield 4 on Xbox One has really come back.
Yeah, I think you guys got a leg up right now on PC because you got the upgrade. PC didn't really get any kind of.
It's running good now with the servers, and then I'm looking forward to the changes that come with the ticker.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. Puppy, how about you? What have you been playing besides the daddy game?
Oh, besides the daddy game, I actually popped Far Cry 3 back in. I think I may have started playing that last podcast. I don't remember when I started playing that. It was recently. I popped Far Cry 3 back in just for laughs, really. And it was seemingly a day after I started playing Far Cry 3 again that Far Cry 4 news started coming out of the woodwork, which was oddly coincidental. Beyond that, actually just got done playing a round of Cards Against Humanity, a knockoff on the internet.
I've never played that game, and I feel like I'm missing something.
Oh my god, dude, it's so good.
I don't get out much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of cheeseball the way it looks. It looks really hideous, but you know, if you're on Reddit at all, you can deal with it. So. Other than that, honestly, I don't have a long list. That's been about it. That and Battlefield 4. Obviously.
Somebody's saying to ask you about Zumba.
Oh, I did play Zumba. I did play Zumba. My wife bought Zumba. Because, all right, so we have Insanity, and I've done Insanity before, but like whoever's never done Insanity, it's a really intense workout, and I've kind of gotten out of shape to where if I try to do the Insanity workout right now, I will die. I would just fall over and die.
It's insane for you to do the Insanity workout.
Yes. So the wife was like, well, we'll pick up something that's, you know, kind of in between and kind of a warm-up. So we picked up Zumba, which is basically like you dance to the...
It's kind of like the console version of fitness. It's a little easier. It's a little, you know...
Well, you know what? It is super easy. I actually started noticing while we were doing it that, like, it's like, oh, yeah, do this move. And, like, you could totally just not even do it. And it's like, oh, yeah, great job. As long as you're moving, it's like, oh, you're awesome.
It's kind of like the Wii with sports when you used to do it. Like you would get up and swing the baseball bat, and eventually you realize if I just lay on the couch and flick my wrist real quick, it thinks I'm doing the same thing. It's kind of, and it defeats it. The whole illusion just crumbles around you. So good on you. Little personal fitness never hurt nobody. Well, it probably did actually, but it's still good to.
I was actually watching CrossFit fails today.
It's all over my like Facebook feed right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, if you think fitness doesn't hurt.
Myself, have I played anything? I think I played Battlefield 4. When did I play that? Since the last podcast, obviously, because I built the whole new PC, the desk, the whole 9 yards. So that's been what I've been doing. Puppy, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm assuming you were done. When we got the Zumba, I kind of assumed you were done.
That was it, bro. Go.
Yeah, I've been doing the setup game. I played some Battlefield 4. Oh, terrible. Like, way worse than normal. It was crazy. I hadn't played in a couple weeks. I think it's a desk height. It's different. I don't know what's going on. Everything's different now, which is weird. It's not just rusty. So, gotta pump some hours in there. But it's kind of hard to put up with the BS right now when you know something is coming. You know, be it DLC, be it CTE, whatever. It's just kind of like, why am I gonna bang my head against the desk when there's hope on the horizon? But we'll get to that. So, other than that, I think that's all I've played. Some Lego games with my kid. That's about it.
Lego games are awesome.
Yeah, that and like Disney. I've clearly clocked more hours in Lego and Disney Infinity this month than anything legit. So I'm not ashamed much. But yeah, that's it for me. So why don't we just move right into Battlefield Hardline? That's obviously the big topic this week. We were going to talk about CTE and DragonsTeeth. We will get to that because I think Battlefield Hardline is pretty easy segue into CTE if you kind of pay attention to what's been going on, so or motives anyway. Battlefield Hardline, I don't even know what to think about. Not just the game, but the whole reaction going on right now. It's so annoying, to be honest. But I understand it at the same time. So it's hard to like yell at people and raise your fist at them. Some people, anyways. Reddit is just a lost cause. But let's just go around quick, see what everybody's kind of initial quick opinion is, and then we'll talk about. I got a couple points here, and I'm sure we'll get some chat. If you have any questions regarding the Hardline, actually, let me mention now. If you want to kind of talk to anybody to kind of help stick out of the chat, just type their name in caps. It catches people's eye. I know myself, otherwise I will miss what you say. So just keep it, if you want to talk to someone directly, just do their name in all caps. They'll see it a little easier. Other than that, if you have like a specific question about Hardline right now, just do it, and I'll kind of take note of it and kind of and queue it up, and we'll get to it because we're going to spend probably a good chunk of time talking about this. Because why not? New games are fun, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Fets, why don't we start with you? What is your kind of initial impression of this this new leak and then kind of confirmation of Cops and Robbers, basically?
I like the game modes. That's what I'm most excited about, or the new game modes. Especially with, I feel like they destroyed Rush on Battlefield 4. And
I think that's fair.
Conquest, I've gotten really bored with Conquest. I never played it in Bad Company 2. In Battlefield 3, I liked Conquest. And in Battlefield 4, every time I go back and play it, I'm just bored out of my mind. So I'm kind of looking forward to some of the new game modes they showed.
I'm not even hating on. Is that a console? Is it Baron? Like, is not?
No, 64 players.
That's true.
I don't enjoy it.
Okay.
It's just a personal preference, but I'm looking forward to some different game modes.
And you're an armor guy too, which is kind of a little surprising.
Yeah, I like the focus objectives of Rush.
I do too. I do too. I've always been a Rush over Conquest guy for that reason. I like the battle lines being drawn and stuff like that.
And talking to the developers, like the map designers for Battlefield 4, they admit they didn't design it for Rush. Like that was an afterthought, and it shows. So it's frustrating.
Definitely does. So you're high on the game modes, obviously, more than anything, which we don't know too much about. I mean, we can kind of infer a little bit, I guess, but yeah, it seems like they're going to be completely new game modes, like not just rehashes of. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm putting too much stock in it, I guess, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely ready for some new experiences. Was that it? You good? Just initial. We'll get into specifics.
Yeah.
I cut you off there. All right, Punisher, what do you got? What's your initial opinion on this? Are you up on it? You down on it? Is it?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic about anything they put out, with caution, of course. But, I mean, I'm kind of more of an infantry guy, so I think some of the game modes are going to be a little more infantry-centric, and I think I'm going to enjoy it, get a little more out of it. So, especially since it kind of goes along with what the Battlefield 2 Special Forces pack had with the grappling hooks and all that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, definitely looks like it's copied, pasted almost from that to some degree.
Yeah, plus car chases. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
I worry about that, though, because the vehicle play in Battlefield 4 is not great. Let's be honest.
I'm pretty pissed that they took the main battle tank out, though.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I want to say, why would they have it in? But then they have attack choppers and planes and jets. So it's like
I just happen to be a giant tank horse. So.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, there'll probably be an equivalent. There'll be something in there that but it's weird. You don't know where that line is drawn for them on that yet. But yeah, so you're up on it. All right, so maybe I should have gotten a detractor. Somebody, I can go to Reddit real quick, get anybody, and just bring them on. But this is my Battlefield. This is not Battlefield.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to be pissy about it like a lot of people have. I mean, it's not Battlefield. It's not.
It's not my Battlefield. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be a detractor. I'll be a detractor when it comes to the quality of the Frostbite engine.
Well, I think we're all skeptics. I think we're definitely all skeptics. But I mean, I think that's healthy. You have to be at this point. But it's just funny to see people rage like it's their possession. Like they're a stockholder. This is not. It's crazy. So, all right, Puppy, what do you got on it? What's your initial impressions?
My initial impressions are it looks shit, and if you like it, then you're a big dumbhead. No, for real, I like it. I love the way they're going with it. I do take issue with one thing, though, and it's take it for what you will, but the fact that they put the Battlefield title on it. I don't, I don't care about getting a game from DICE that uses Frostbite engine and uses the Battlefield models, and to some extent we even saw like the RPG look the exact same. A lot of the animations look the same. I'm okay with that, but just slapping the Battlefield title on there, I feel like
look the same. Again, complete. It's Battlefield 3 or 4 reskinned complete.
Yeah. See, I wonder though, because that video is clearly an early, like almost proof of concept. Because they're talking about Omaha and all that, and they've come out to say it's months old. But again, you don't know if you can really believe. But it's clearly not a recent video. It might just literally be them. They might have not even changed things yet, because HUDs are easy to change. I mean, it's one of the easiest things you can change. So, but yeah, it was startling to me how little we've seen the class icons, and that's, as far as we know, the final icons. They're the same thing. It's like you couldn't have put a little effort here. So yeah,
did you catch that they went to the cash system to purchase like upgrades?
Yeah, but I don't. Do we have that on confirmation? Because
I screenshot it, but it's on my work.
I've seen the screenshot, but like all the weapons are wrong.
They are. Yeah, I noticed.
I don't know.
I noticed that.
I almost welcome that. Like, why not? But let's get into the Battlefield name first, because probably hinted on it. We might as well lead off with that, because that seems to be what everybody's raging about. And I think most of us are a little older than your average, probably, gamer at this point. We kind of get why they did this, but so many people do not get this and just cannot wrap their head around that this is marketing. This is. I mean, it just when you get the game, guys, get a Sharpie, scratch out Battlefield. That's what it's. It's
branding.
Matter?
It's brand unification. That's what
it is. But what does that matter? Like nobody can understand. Like it's a word. I mean, it's like, and like I said in my video, scratch off Battlefield, put in Frostbite, because that's what it is. It's the Frostbite engine of this. Like, that's all they're trying to say. It's just. And it's not like it's the first time a company's done this. Call of Duty, Tom Clancy. Yeah. It's like everybody does it, and that's just in video games. So,
well, people don't recognize Hardline, but they recognize Battlefield. Right. It keys people in to focus. Oh, they're talking about Battlefield, and even with Call of Duty, I mean, crap, they're putting freaking Call of Duty on toys in Walmart, for Christ's sake.
Legos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so people see that and they're like, they immediately attract to it, and so. I think as from a marketing standpoint, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I could see a guy walking through. Again, I'm just quoting myself in my video. It's like you're walking through Best Buy, your girlfriend's going over and getting an iPad or iPod. When the hell did they put this new Battlefield game out? Like, all right, I'll check it out, because immediately it's like you harken back. I mean, it's marketing 101, really. The irony here is they've done this before. Bad Company. It's the same. If YouTubers and Reddit were around when they did Bad Company, they would have burnt the place down. Because think about the departure from Battlefield 2, which was like simulator, huge sandbox, like the purest form of Battlefield, in that area, and they went to like a comic book, and they built it for console. Well, Bad Company 2 for consoles, but I'm lumping them all together. Like, people would have raged, people would have went insane. Like, this is nothing. So. And it worked, and now people hold Bad Company 2 in such high regard. So just SDFU. Like, please, just stop.
I posted on Twitter, and I got a lot of responses. People in the same boat. I was a Call of Duty player until Bad Company 2, and that is the game that converted me.
Yeah, I was one of the people who replied to you. I was similar.
I love Bad Company 2. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, same here. It was a good bridge game. It just it did a really good job of bridging the gap between the franchises and.
Right, and you loved it for what it was. I mean, it's like you understood this wasn't Battlefield 2. Like I said, it was trying, and that's the same thing they're doing here. And it's just like they've done it both marketing and now development-wise. And it's like, hey, listen, this might turn out to be a steaming pile, but let's just let it be a steaming pile first.
Yeah.
Like just
at least give it a chance.
Yeah, don't get hung up on the name so much. I don't know. Puppy, you look like you're trying to say something, but...
maybe it's just because the way I am, and I feel especially out of place, being as how one of my main gripes has to do with two of the gentlemen that are in here. It's not really a gripe, but like, when I think Battlefield or even Call of Duty, both of those terms make me think military. And I think that's kind of where I take issue with the title, per se. Like, I understand they're doing it for marketing. I get that. They want their money. But at the same time, I feel like because it has the Battlefield title, like, to me that instantly says military. And, well, I'm sorry to say, but, cops aren't military. Sure, they're trained. They're trained to do what they do, and you have SWAT, who are very good, and they go through a lot of really intensive stuff. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, when you look at, you go to the Pentagon, 5 branches of military, the cops are not there. So
I hear what you're saying. That might be the most valid argument I've heard.
Well, I guess the counter argument I'd make to that is that what the game's focusing on is a militarized version of the police force. So this isn't your patrolmen. This is SWAT and CERT teams who are militarized, carrying assault rifles and ballistic shields.
We don't know the story.
Yeah, we don't know the story.
I mean, they could wind it enough to make it fit.
You make a valid point about it not being a branch of the military, but at the same time, it's very militarized.
Like, if they would have called it Battlefield War on Crime, like, I think it would have. There was a little more like explanation. Like, okay, we don't really know what Hardline, what they're trying to say with that. I mean, obviously you can make some ideas, but it's not like they're saying Battlefield Police. Where you're just like segmented. Like, Hardline's pretty obscure. They could kind of really fabricate a story around it if they wanted to, which is probably exactly what they did. They built the game and came up with the story after. Yeah, it's like, I get why they're doing it. I think they probably could have been more creative in doing it and done a better job. It is jarring, this Battlefield Hardline. It doesn't have any synergy. It just kind of... And the last thing you want to do is alienate your current customers to attract ones you don't have. So it's not a great job, but I know why they did it. I think they could have been a little better about it. But
well, keep in mind, they didn't have control of the information being released the way they would have liked. So
yeah,
I'm sure they could have presented it in the way they would have.
That was a big soup sandwich.
Something else I'm curious about, though, is whether or not they could have gone with a different direction in just the title. I mean, I know we're being awfully nitpicky just talking about and being aggro in on the game, or DICE or whoever, for the title that they chose, but how hard would it have been for them to take just pick a different title? And, I mean, if they market it as, well, DICE made this game, I mean, have they really ruined their reputation that much with Battlefield 4 to where people wouldn't buy it? I mean, DICE is still pretty reputable in my opinion.
I think the smarter thing would have been, like, we're going years back, is to brand... They should have branded Frostbite more. And I think they probably planned to do that, but when Frostbite shit the bed on Battlefield 4, they kind of zipped their lip on it, and they're like, we can't put this thing front and center, it's not going to hold up. I think if Battlefield 4 would have hit the ground running and been finished and good, we would have seen them push Frostbite as the kind of the lead brand, the umbrella brand almost. Maybe. Right. I don't know. I think that would have been a smarter way to do it. But obviously they weren't. I don't think I think they had hamstrung, and they had to kind of change on the fly. But I don't know.
So I have a feeling outside of Reddit, most of us and most of the people watching don't care about branding or title of the game. It's really the gameplay decisions are what it's going to come down to. It's in whether, do you think that what they're doing right? So obviously the investment they're making in CTE right now is designed to help them sell Frostbite to other companies to make games and license the Frostbite engine and prove that it works. They're not really concerned with fixing Battlefield 4 as much as they're making sure that Battlefield 5 Hardline runs a lot better. Are they going to be able to achieve that, though? I guess that's a really good question for Punisher, who's been.
Well, we'll get to that. I'm gonna. You can cover it, because I mean we will get to that more in depth a little later, and I think it's already starting, because I think we're all anxious to talk about it. And that's one thing. But yeah, go ahead, Bun. You can talk about it a little bit if you want.
Well, that's my number one question with the game is, are they going to be able to fix the Frostbite related issues that we saw with Battlefield 4?
Yeah, I think.
I am hopeful that they are. I think that the CTE, you're seeing the CTE now in Battlefield 4. I think that is going to be I think that's the test bed for this new game.
Absolutely.
And I think when they come out with this patch with Battlefield 4, with what they've done in the CTE, and they see how it turns out there, and then they incorporate those same changes into Hardline, I think, for the most part, at least for network-related stuff, I think you will see a change. It'll be a good one. But, there's other issues with Frostbite, particularly with me being an AMD guy, there's a lot of mantle issues, a lot of CPU-related loading that, that makes no sense, that you see that causes stuttering.
We all see the jagged lines on your video.
Oh yeah, you see them. They just arbitrarily pop up, and so there's the you know, for me, that's what I want to see fixed. Is I just want to see those performance gains that they promised with Mantle, you know, and so I can have nice, smooth gameplay.
I think the game design itself is going to lend to that a little bit too. It's smaller. I mean, even if they load it when I have Levolution is coming back, you know, in Hardline. Even if they have that though, like I doubt we're going to get skyscrapers falling. We're going to get you know, like airwalks falling in a mall, or you know, I don't know, like littler Levolution. I think they're throttling back a little bit, whether they planned it that way or not. So I think the game setting and design itself is going to lend itself to be a little more friendly to network and just the engine. So even without them doing anything, I think it's going to be a little more manageable for them. I hope.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to. I have an idea that they're not going to go with 64 players.
No, I don't think so at all.
I think it'll be 16v16 max.
I mean, who knows if we get private servers? Maybe we'll be able to do whatever we want. But I think the game will clearly, and I think they're going to be very open about that. They should be.
There will always be private servers now that they can profit off of them.
Well, you might not be able to put the slot count, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I think I think it's clearly going to be designed for smaller. I think it should be, frankly.
Yeah, yeah. I think 64, be honest with you, I mean, I'm like you, Kulprit. I hardly ever play on 64-player servers.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the stream. I'm just going to...
Yeah. You know, it's just too much. I don't think the maps... Some of the maps can handle it. You know, but for the most part, with the modes that I like to play, because I like the infantry stuff, I mean, I don't want to play 64-player domination. Right. It's freaking crazy.
I did a video about that like 2 weeks ago, within the last 2 weeks, and I had a few people detract and disagree, but... I like the smaller player counts. I like being able to have more of an impact on the outcome.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes it a lot more rewarding for me, which in return makes it a lot more fun to play for me. And I think it helps people. One of the points I made in my video is that people have more invested interest in winning when they can have more of an impact on the outcome.
Right.
So if I'm one of 64 and I think nothing I do actually affects whether we win or lose, then I'm not as inclined to contribute towards winning.
Right, they focus on what they can control, and in a 16v16, I can control the outcome, so I'm going to go hard for that. 64 man, I can't control that so much, so I'm going to control my KD because that's what I can control, or I'm just going to control the B flag because I can control. That's how I play. I mean, I bite off a part of the map, and that's what I control, and that's how I typically do it. You know, but I mean, everybody. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm like a COD-minded player playing Battlefield with my domination, my KD.
Yeah,
it has a lot to do with my time, you know, too. I'm not gonna pretend I don't have time for long matches and stuff, but yeah, I think honestly, I think it'd be dumb if this game just copied that scale. Like, give us something different. Give us, you know, like, it's got to fill a niche because they don't see this as a one-off game. I don't interpret. I think they're looking for branches off to flip that yearly release, so they don't want to just mirror it. I don't think, even though it is virtually a mirror.
Yeah, it looks just
so let's just touch on first. I had a concern. You guys saw the doc. We're hearing the same goddamn semantics about single player, you know, and now it's the rumor. It was a rumor, but it's gaining traction now. Guy's been fired apparently for saying it. That DICE has handled multiplayer. Visceral is brought in for single player. Makes a lot of sense. Because Visceral, I would say, would be more cred for their single player than their first-person shooter. You know, they've always done third-person. So that would give me a little... frankly, I don't care about the campaign, but I'm worried I'm worried about that hurting my multiplayer. That's what I'm worried about.
Can't really say DICE is an excellent multiplayer developer anymore either.
No, I wouldn't, but they're terrible single players. So... I cringe, and I guess maybe I'm out of touch because we're a little. I don't know if we're all hardcore, but we're harder core than the casual guy that they're clearly marketing to. Do that many people play the campaign? Like, I can't see a campaign being that much of a revenue generator, and perhaps this is a bigger topic for a bigger day. But why do they pay it so much? It just drives me crazy. Can somebody shut up about the single player in first-person shooter games? Like, that's one thing I'll give Titanfall credit for. Like, respect for that, the way they approach that.
I wanted. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm against that. I actually like that. I like the single player. I'm looking for an immersive gameplay style in a campaign, like Call of Duty 4 was. Call of Duty 4 to me is the best single player campaign I
I
ever
would say
played in
Bad
my
Company
life.
too. Like that was the last time I had a good experience.
Yeah, and so if Visceral's going to give me that experience that I had back then I'm all for it.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the reason I don't care is because I haven't had any kind of a quality experience in 8 years.
Keep in mind too, Battlefield 4 is $110 video game.
Yeah,
almost twice what other video
game.
games go
Right.
for. It should have a full single player and a full year-long multiplayer at that price, I think. So,
see, I mean, I'm weird. Because I would almost be like,
well, I've never played the single player though. Keep that in mind.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like even Puppy, I don't know where you stand on the spectrum. Even if you like it, how many times you play it? Like, how many hours do you think you'll get out of that single player? Even if it's like COD 4, let's say, if it's a great single player, what do you? I was doing this on Twitter. What do you get? Maybe 10 hours, maybe 20 hours out of it. Whereas multiplayer, some of us will rack up hundreds of hours of. And I would almost just want someone to get up and be like, you know what? We scrapped the single player. All focus is on multiplayer. We're charging you the same, but you're going to get a better quality. Now, you have to deliver on that quality. Otherwise, people are going to call you on it. But it's never going to happen. I understand that.
Remember, did you guys ever play SOCOM? PS2?
No. Yes.
They integrated single player in that you had to do certain things in single player to get multiplayer unlocks. And I think we're going to see that with Battlefield Hardline, not in a requirement, but I think at one part in the video they said that you could earn money in single player to apply to your multiplayer unlock purchases. And that's an interesting concept too.
As long as you don't have to.
You don't have to do it, but you can earn additional cash that you can then purchase weapons.
It'll get you a couple steps ahead of other people by doing the single player.
Or at least give you some value.
It carries over, right? You're not wasting your time, I guess.
That's probably about the best system I can think of for doing that. Not forcing you to play it, but providing you some value and doing single player to apply towards your multiplayer experience.
Now, with all that said, I do think they have a pretty sweet palette to work with here on a campaign level. You got cops, robbers. Like I said, it looks like Heat the movie. There's a lot that you got Grand Theft Auto. You can you could do any of that, and there's a wide spectrum of things they can do. I don't frankly care, but I know some people do, and I think they're definitely trying to go for it. So I guess time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, as much as the cops and bad guys genre is overdone, the military theme stuff is even more overdone. Right. So I think people are really tired of storylines around soldiers. And
here's my take on it. Honestly, I'm okay with a single player so long as it's a good single player game. I mean, can anyone here who's played it actually say that Skyrim or games like that were bad? Red Dead Redemption. There's been a lot of really good single-player games. Now, granted, those aren't first-person shooters. But I feel like because we have Visceral, who's actually been brought in to handle it, like I have a fair amount of confidence in their ability to produce a good storyline. My only concern with it is designating the resources to making a single-player game.
That's what it is for me.
When there isn't replayability. Like, to me, if they can make a great single-player game, that's all good and fine, to me, when I think of good single-player games, I can think of Assassin's Creed or, even GTA 5 story was really good. But with a lot of those, like even GTA 5 for me personally, it didn't have any replay value for me. I didn't want to go back, and I don't want to go back and pick it up when I can just go play the multiplayer. And I feel like any game that usually has a multiplayer, like that's going to happen if it has a multiplayer that works anyway. I mean, I was just playing Far Cry 3, the single player, again, because the story to me and the way that the game plays was so good. And that is a first-person shooter with a really good single player that had a lot of replayability, in my opinion, and has a lot of replayability. The question is are they going to be able to pull it off? Because to me, part of what makes a single-player game have a lot of replayability is an immense amount of freedom of choice and, without a shadow of a doubt, no way of beating around it, an open world. If you don't have an open world, I'm sorry, I'm just not as interested.
At this day and age, that's the platform you need to be. Yeah, I mean.
And they stated it in that leaked video that you can approach missions from different angles, but that in and of itself speaks volumes in the fact that you can approach it from different angles, but it's not open world.
Yeah.
So that I'm kind of.
I don't think it's gonna make or break the game. But I just, I cringe when I hear them focus. I mean, remember Battlefield, the emotion, the connection, and it's garbage. And it's just like, you wait, and obviously, clearly, they needed every resource they could. And everybody yells at me that it's not, apples to apples and aren't. You can't just pull a single player dev over. I get it, but I just wish. I guess you can't ignore the single player in a genre like this, Cops and Robbers. But I don't think they're gonna have the time. Like you're saying, like how long has Visceral been?
Well, they said 2 years in the one and what they put on Battlelog. So what this comes down to, though, is project management. Battlefield 4, from a project management standpoint, was completely under...
was a train wreck.
I don't know if there was.
It was.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, was there one?
So, I mean, you guys don't really know. My background and what I currently do is heavily in software development. I have a QA background as well. And
I didn't know that. No.
It's obvious from anyone that works in the industry that their project management and their leadership was severely lacking.
Yes.
I have no doubt that they have very talented developers working at DICE.
Oh, they clearly do.
That worked on this game, that worked on the engine. There was no resources from DICE or EA invested, either time or money invested in the QA process. That's completely obvious.
Yeah.
And the developers were not given nearly enough time to finish their work. At some point, it became obvious internally to them, and they put together a plan to release and patch, and they just couldn't get it. I think whatever they were being told, let's release and we'll have 1 month of patches to apply, and they underestimated completely. And here they are 6 months later, finally getting to the point where they thought they'd be a month after launch, I think.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's the case. And you see them throwing their hands up with CTE now. It's something they staunchly were not for at launch. Just like the tick rate, just like visiting weapon damage, and here we go. We're revisiting weapon damage now. These are all things they were very hardline about, and now suddenly, we'll get to that, but, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really good resource when they are at a point where there's not enough money being invested for them to have internal testing and QA at this point. That's really a shortcut that they had to go to at this point to continue working on this at the level they need.
It's just silly because it's not a free resource, but it's such a great value to them at what it costs. Like, and people are begging to do it. I guess we are doing it in Battlefield 4, but
I have a feeling from EA's perspective, there's a lot of money to be invested in managing another environment. So, I mean, they have a lot of cost and setup and maintenance to maintain the CTE environment and to keep versions straight and to keep servers running. So now they're running their dev environment, their staging environment, a production environment that we're all playing on, and now they have a fourth environment to synchronize and to provide resources towards. So I can see, they have to do a cost benefit, and initially I'm sure they were very against that expenditure.
Right, clearly.
But 6 months after launch, when the game is still
the only way we're going to make this work is
train wreck, okay, let's put the money towards this fourth environment and let's get some feedback that we need.
I'm going to loop it back around, just stay on Hardline for a little bit because we're clearly raring to go on the CT. I just want to talk about some of the newer things we're seeing. Like, think they're going to add? You think they're going to be a detriment to the game? Like, I'm going to just grappling hooks I have listed in here. It seems to be a polar kind of issue. It's such a simple little gadget, but we all know could have quite the effect, and we could go into ballistic shield, but I think that's already been talked to death with Battlefield 4, the pros and cons of that. So I'm just going to focus on grappling hooks. You guys chat, bring anything in we've seen from the leaks, anything you think might be good, might be terrible, because, part of me is like, oh, grappling hooks, cool. Like, and everybody's like, great, they can get on any roof they want. Well, yeah, but now I can too. I don't have to go steal a helicopter to go get that bastard. So exactly. I kind of like that. I just wish they would just not let them on roofs at all, but that's not going to happen. So I kind of see it as a good thing. Why not? So what do you guys think?
I like the grappling hook. I think it's a great idea. I don't think that it'll be... I think it'll be limited in how far you can shoot the thing or throw the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to seem like Spider-Man.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it'll have its limits. You'll be able to use it for certain things. I'm hoping it works the way it worked in the BF2 Special Forces pack. I thought that was a good idea where it stayed in place and your squad could use it and then you could pick it up after everybody came across it. I mean, it's essential in SWAT. I mean, you got to be able to infiltrate a building and penetrate it and get in there and, save people or whatever you're trying to go after. So I like it.
Well, I mean, the question is, will grappling hooks be a open world type of tool that you can go anywhere, or will they be like a ladder that you place yourself in places they've predetermined? You know,
right? You need a piece of board to stick out so you can hit it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, the lateral, the horizontal, you know, that could just be single player for all we know. But yeah, it's interesting. That's what I mean. A lot of people see that and cringe and think of all the bad things you could do with that. But a lot of people are like, well, but it might balance. People do that shit anyway. This might help me counter that, you know. So I don't know. Yeah. Puppy, did you have, or are you just reading the chat?
I was reading the chat too. I did have an opinion, but I wanted to go last. So.
Well, you're up then.
Oh, sorry. No, so like I'm okay with it. Like kind of just because, like you guys said, they can get on roofs, but so can I. Personally, I feel like just with the way that the Frostbite 3 engine has worked and the way that they've showed us that they're going to use their mechanics, I feel like it will be a predetermined kind of thing. Not so much like very rigid, like you can only shoot the wooden board and, you know, you can't just shoot anything you want with the grappling hook to, say, go from rooftop to rooftop or something. I think it'll work kind of similarly to how, like, you know, like right now we have bipods that we can bipod up, but only in certain places. You know, like if it's not a feasible spot, then you're not going to be able to bipod there. Like I'm sure they will have some sort of mechanic like that. Hopefully the grappling hooks will have some, you know, they won't have retarded Spider-Man range, you know, like as you said. But honestly, when we talk about what we've seen and the new gadgets and everything, I can't help but say two things, and it's not about the grappling hook, and that is baseball bat and where's my defibs?
Well, yeah, I saw the defibs, and I had the same melee thought, and I'm just like, the melee system in Battlefield is bad. I mean, is there another game that's been out on Frostbite that I don't like? I'm not that up on it. That's had decent melee, because it's not.
No, nope.
It's gonna
get
be
rid of the panic knife.
Yeah, you're gonna hit one button, and there's gonna be this whole dance that happens. Yeah, it's gonna be this whole orchestrated thing. It's, I don't know.
To me, why?
I know you're upset about the defibs.
No,
but
yeah,
there is that EpiPen thing. There's
you know
like
what?
An
they got the
EpiPen.
EpiPen thing, and honestly, I don't even think that might be a revive thing. Like I think
that
they
could
might
be for picking locks too. I thought. I
think with or it could be like a heal or like an adrenaline type thing.
Right.
I think the direction they may be going with the defibs thing is kind of, you know, I'm a defib kid. That's what I do. You know, I run around and defib people because I think it's hilarious. But honestly, there's been a lot of people, particularly a lot of the hardcore Battlefielders, that have always kind of complained or, you know, mumbled about, dude got ran over by a tank and, you know, we just revive him with a little shock paddle and then he's good to go. So, you know, if they want to take that out and try and add a little bit of realism in the fact that, you know, you can't necessarily revive somebody, you know, honestly, I'm okay with that, I guess. I'm gonna miss electrocuting people.
I'm looking Darkness 14. Thanks for coming out, by the way. He's saying it's for you know, the allergic reactions, and like, yeah, these are cops. These are not soldiers, right? These are not the most fit. They're gonna be inhalers. This is gonna be, you know. But and then I did see Peekaboo Bang again. Thank you for coming out. She mentions about the hostages, and this kind of, I didn't have it in the doc, but it's great. It's the AI. There's clearly AI involved here, and that makes me nervous as hell. So. I don't know if we're going to see like civilians, like gunfights break out and there's civilians running in the middle, but we clearly are going to get hostages. That's a game mode, and you're going to be dependent on these clowns to move through a building, I think, unless you just run up to them and untie them and game's over. I don't know, but that makes me nervous.
Bullets flying, AI's taking a bullet to the head, game over.
Right, yeah. Or your teammate shoots them, you know. Or,
they might handle it like Counter-Strike did. I mean, with their hostage rescue, they did okay.
Yeah, hostage rescue is not a new idea in game modes, so they have plenty to work off.
Yeah, I'm just worried about AI in this engine. You know, anytime you take it, it's hard enough with the teammates we get, right? Like, I don't need the match also dependent on AI, and then I'm just like, we're gonna be like you talked about. We're just gonna focus on KD and not because we can't win.
I mean, I like Titanfall a lot, but I'm not really a big fan of the bots and the AI in it still. So,
but yeah, like at least they're not the objective. You know what I mean? They're kind of a side story. They're kind of
well, they can be, but yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Right, but they're not the main objective. Where like if they die, game's over. Puppy, you're on.
The chat.
I hope there's no law enforcement around.
Peekaboo Bang says that the donut is the new defib. You just wave it in their face and they come back to life.
Oh, goodness. And as you rank up, you get a bigger and bigger mustache. We could do this all night.
You guys are gonna kill me.
I don't know. I'm gonna open it to chat. We're hitting about 30 minutes on this topic. So, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about besides donuts and mustaches? And you guys too. What's up? You're a grump. Oh, it's darkness. It's whatever.
I'm actually smiling. That's pretty rare for me. So I don't know what his problem is.
Yeah. So I like. Here's my thing on this game. Why not? Like, it's no threat to you. Like, I think I get called the grump and the Captain Negative on Twitter all the time. Like, that's me and Snoov are like always getting called out, right? Because we do. I'm always kind of seeing the half-empty glass when it comes to Battlefield and things. And I guess Titanfall. But like, yeah, I know. Damn it, he's left me. Wave a donut at him and bring him back, right? But like, I wasn't expecting a game this fall. I knew we've heard rumors for a while, but I was like, I'm not interested in that. It's Battlefield 4. Hopefully Battlefield 4 gets fixed. I can play it. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, barren fall, I mean, there's other games that are piquing my interest, but I didn't see a main game coming. So I'm like, I didn't have any hopes. I didn't have any expectations. I still don't. Like, if this game, I'm not pre-ordering it. I think are we all agreed on that? Nobody's...
Yes.
I mean, I think that doesn't have to be said at this point, But, so why not? Like, all right. Go for it. Either you hit it and I got a new game to play, or you don't, and I don't spend $1 on any goddamn game. And it's like, if nothing else, this is clearly, and here we go, segue, this is clearly motivating them to fix my game, Battlefield 4. So, at the worst case scenario, I get a little bit better Battlefield 4 out of this. Best case, I get 2 games I'm playing. I don't see why people are raging so hard. It drives me crazy. Yeah. They just need to take the bigger picture and get over the fucking name. Yeah, I know it's stupid, but it's not that important. So I don't know. I'm just let's see, what mode would I include in Hardline?
Being nitpicky is what I do, though. Yeah, about the name. Just saying.
Well, game mode would I include in Hardline? I think all my subs would say TDM.
Yeah.
Rage at me all the time. I think TDM's in the game actually, but God, I don't know. I like the game modes are going. I like the hostages. I've said that before. VIP, those types of modes. Why not? Just don't do the classic. If I want to play Conquest, Rush, all that, I'll go play it. Give me something different. Yep. Would I mind like TDM, Domination, those staples? No, those can be in there. They're easily done. But give me something different.
Can I just say
like Titan mode?
Titan mode. That would be. I'm just trying to think how that would be. Go ahead, Fets. What do you got?
I will probably pre-order the game. So. Just so you know.
I think I'm with you on that one. Honestly, dude.
I just don't think I can do it out of principle. Yeah. I just don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
No, I might change my mind in August.
Look, we're already crumbling. Look at it. I mean,
I'm not going to pretend. I'm not even going to pretend I won't pre-order it. I'm going to pre-order it.
But I might actually change my mind.
Take my money.
I would go into GameStop right now and put $5 down.
They would have to give some incredible incentive. I mean, obviously, you clearly have to know more. Like, right now, sitting here, there's no reason to. Like, why? There's just nothing. But, yeah, I won't be pre-ordering it. I will not do any kind of a premium. Money is not my problem, so I'll buy things a la carte if I got to. It's just a principle thing, I think. Until the game, I might buy it the first 5 minutes it's out, but I can't do it. I can't. I'll feel like an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm usually with you, and I just pre-order because YOLO, and you can return it, I guess. But
my big issue is it just falls in between 2 games that I was.
Yeah, you
planning.
said this. Yeah.
I want to, because I'm looking at Destiny. I want to play Destiny. The game looks sick to me.
Hell yeah.
And that's a consume your life game, yeah.
Yeah, and then Battlefront, which is coming out next May. And that was the games that I was really looking forward to buying. And now they throw this kind of in the mix, and I'm kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
For me, then, you also throw in the Division, which is...
No, you don't throw that in. That's
going to be next year.
That's not their last delay. I'll call it right now.
Oh, yeah. Ubisoft is...
Episode 8, that's not their last delay. If it's 2015, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
That's just what they do. And only because... I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm high in the game. It's just utterly ambitious, and it's, I hope it's not. I mean, I hope they take their time with it.
Delay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Take your time.
Make it good.
Make it look like it could be. I'll wait for it. I'm not going anywhere. Lord knows.
So long as we don't have another Duke Nukem Forever, take your time.
Exactly.
Aren't all YouTubers obligated to pre-order the game? No, actually, most of them get it for free now, which is even worse. They have nothing invested in it.
Yep.
just scanning chat before we move on. But like I said, I think we're going to move to the CTE environment, which, like I said, we're going to move into episode 8. Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out a way to do this for you guys, but I think there's enough, you guys. I mean, I haven't played much hands-on myself, so I've tried a couple times. I haven't really had a good experience, but that was because of me, my PC at the time. So, as you know, Battlefield 4, as everybody knows, has a community test environment now, and we're all kind of up on it. It's kind of gotten overshadowed. Clearly, we know the reason this thing suddenly bubbled to the surface. It wasn't because DICE or EA became benevolent and we're like, we want to help the game. No, it's not that. I mean, that's going to be a side byproduct, hopefully, and I'm okay with that. I'll take it any way I can get it. It's clearly, I mean, I guess technically to fix the game, clearly, but it's to restore hope and confidence. I mean, and I think it's already doing a pretty good job of that. It's got 4 guys right here that were really kind of frustrated with the game. I'd say we're all on the up incline in confidence and hope. I mean, you got to be. So it's a matter of delivering. We're told the tick rate patch is in certification, so that's a week or two, unless it gets kicked back. But, you know, it's imminent, I guess we could say. So, and they've got to get it out. I thought they had to get it out before E3. We have to see an improvement before E3. Otherwise, that's going to be the focus. But what are you guys? Well, Punisher, we're going to lead off with you. And I know you've touched on it a little bit here. I'll echo with you, and then I guess Fets and Puppy, you're going to have to go from kind of a theoretical standpoint. I am going to touch on the consoles because I think we've gotten some good news for the consoles on that, but we'll get to that. What are your impressions overall, Punisher, of the CTE environment? Because I know you've been playing the heck out of it.
No, I'm really impressed with it for the most part, but there is some equal frustration. As far as the tick rate goes and the hit registration and all that, it's so much better. But at the same time, you're seeing a lot of dependency on your ping or latency. You know, a lot of guys with high ping, because the fact that they have servers in the Netherlands, servers West Coast United States. They don't have anything anywhere else. I think they have some in, like 1 or 2 in Italy or something like that. But you have so many people that have signed up from, you know, various parts of the world. Yeah. Pings are crazy. You know, you got guys playing with 250, 300 pings, and you are getting destroyed because you still have to deal with the, you know, network issues of Frostbite and, you know, general networking. Period.
Yeah, general online games, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So you have to deal with that frustration. You die a lot more. My stats in the CTE are putrid compared to what it is in retail. And
wouldn't you say that's because there's no casuals on the CTE too? I mean, I've seen a lot of guys say that, and
I think the skill level of the guys in the CTE are definitely a lot better.
Yeah, I would think so.
But I mean, across the board, I mean, if they were to take what they have now and 100% convert it to retail, a lot of the average players would be highly frustrated because they would get destroyed.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys say that the skill gap has been widened or installed.
Yeah,
you know, which I'm okay with, but it depends on how it shakes out. It can't be too much.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah. There's still guys that really do, you know, well consistently. You know, for me, it's up and down. I'll have a good game. I'll have a bad game. It just really depends on the server and the amount of people that have triple-digit pings. So, but overall, I like the fact that there is quick interaction between the players and the developers. I really seeing a lot of good input and a lot of feedback coming through with the developers, and they're quick to put stuff in and try it out and to answer your questions, and that's really encouraging for me.
Yeah, because I've read I haven't been able to play much, but even when I did play, I mean, they're in the chat, they're right there. Like that was awesome, answering questions right in chat and stuff. That was cool. That was early on, so maybe that's changed now that they've let a lot more people in. But and the forums are pretty good for the most part. You know, if you get a good thread, it's good to hear the back and forth.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm all for it. You know, I think it's a great idea. I think that, you know, like you said, it's not the sole reason for it is to fix Battlefield 4. The sole reason for it is to get Frostbite more stable so that they can pour it into the other games they're developing.
Right. So
and it's a response to the community because we've been basically bitching to them about it for the last 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's going to say it's 6 months too late, but, you know, I mean, or, you know, it's about time, or that's what you see everywhere. But, yeah, it's Tiggy. I mean, I've seen his chat now. I mean, he's been everywhere. Like, it's like every server I get on. I mean, it's clearly his, I don't know how it works, but it's his passion project or something. I think he's the guy that's can kind of spearhead the whole thing, and kudos to him, because he's just like, every server I feel like I've played, he's on there, and it's not just playing, he's interacting. If they would have done it for, I woulda, coulda, shoulda, but man, it's nice. It's nice to see people actually playing their game, knowledgeably talking about it in a professional manner, and you know, that is just restored a lot of faith for me. You know, like you said, there's management is non-existent, but there are talented people there, and every now and then when you run into them, it's really kind of reassuring.
Yeah. Yeah, they're passionate about the game. I mean, you see it, and I mean, they want the game to be good. I think that like, you know, Fets said earlier, the disconnect is where the managers are.
Now, how much do you? God, I'll let you finish the thought.
But you know, I was just going to say that, you know, you got big corporate EA pushing crazy timelines so that they can you know, try to beat Call of Duty, and you got developers telling them, hey, we're not going to be able to meet the timeline and put a good product out. You know, we have this, you know, laundry list of QA problems that we're having to deal with, and basically EA is saying, I don't care.
I know, ship it, yeah.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine their bug list right now. Like, I mean, even at this
I almost
point,
feel like they don't have. It's like a notebook somewhere, like, because they don't check anything. But how much do you think this is? I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think Battlefield 4 is the hands of Danger Close or Dice LA, right? How much do you think it is these guys now? They're almost getting a second chance, you know, like a second life. You know, their game that they made. Obviously, we all know about it. It crashed and burned, more or less, for whatever reasons. And a lot of them, obviously, they like being employed, clearly. But a lot of these guys are passionate guys. They love gaming, obviously, whether, you know, we think they don't play games or not. They clearly do, because you wouldn't be in the business if you didn't. And now you see guys that are, I mean, 6-7 months in, when you usually don't see an upswing in support. Now we are, and I'm wondering if it's because the game's kind of been handed off, you know, and then these guys are attacking the game, like you said, they're instituting changes very quickly, very rapidly, which is not something, you know, we're used to.
We're not used to it.
Granted, they're not, and I'm not hating on consoles here, but clearly the hoops that go through this are a console thing and a Sony and Xbox or a Microsoft thing. PC, they can publish, you know, self-publish. That obviously helps, but I feel like it's a hungry set of people on this now, and they're working hard at it. Well, and I was.
You mean they're not, as the chat's talking about, they're not taking 30 or 60-day vacations at launch?
Yeah, they're all,
yeah. Well, yeah, that was a freaking snafu. I still don't understand.
I just roll my eyes and just think it's cultural.
Well, it is.
Yeah, well, it is based on Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is LA, so we all know they're working 7 days a week, and that's the only thing that keeps me sane about it. Is I'm like, yeah, maybe they're working really hard all over. You know, that's what they're saying. So, but you're right.
I mean, I'd get fired if I took a day off during a major release. Like that, in the United States, that's not even an option.
Would you get double fired if when you came back from the vacation you asked, "How's the game?"
Right. If I went to the client and basically just instigated their hatred for it.
Right. So, it's like I want to get excited about it, but I kind of like know better. It's like I'm a abused spouse. You know, oops, I just did something.
Did you break it?
I don't know how to get it back now. There we go. Everybody's in the same window. Yeah, there you go. I just clicked.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, just in case, you know, Alan Kurtz took vacation on launch day and he went and got married and was basically on the honeymoon for a month. And
a lot more than just him.
2 months. Well,
was it 2 months? Yeah, he took a long amount of time. But here's the issue with it, and what people may not understand is the fact that in Sweden you are required to take. I mean, employers have to give their employees a certain amount of time off every year. And what DICE did was they pretty much kept them on, you know, staff through the development of Battlefield 4 and pushed all their vacation to the end.
So November, December, they had to go.
Yeah, they had to go, or else they were going to be breaking labor laws.
But again, Paul, that's poor management. You get your guys out of there early in the development cycle and have them there for the launch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
These
stagger
are
their
key
lead
people
time.
in the release.
Well, they did the same thing in Battlefield 3. It's clearly what they do. They did the same. Remember, they again, we're getting on a tangent, but whatever. They shipped them all off. They went to, like, where the hell did they go? I can't remember. They all, like, the company went on a trip on the BF3 launch, like a whole big company retreat. I forget where the hell it was now.
Well, yeah, I agree.
But you're right, Fets. It was a program management problem. The management should have managed the leave of their personnel a lot better than what they did. It was totally screwed up. You know, that would not happen in the United States. Not saying that the United States is better.
No, we might be too far the other way. Yeah, sure.
So these guys, so there's some good points being made. Having those guys there wouldn't have helped.
No, it wasn't balanced.
Terrible that launch was,
and that's what Kurtz does.
But for us as players, it would have made a big difference.
Well, right yes,
you know, so that's kind of what I'm getting at. Having Kurtz there or Matros would not have fixed it. It's 6 months and
go on
they still
vacation.
haven't fixed
Don't tweet about it. Just go on vacation.
Right. You don't need to tell anyone you're not there.
Like,
we wouldn't have known the difference.
Right.
You know, we had no idea.
There's a disconnect. There's clear, but we're kind of getting on a tangent. I'm going to try to bring us back, but because I could talk about this for hours. It's fun to beat that horse a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the consoles, kind of bring you guys in. When I first heard all this, I was just like, this is great. This is great. You know, tick rate, all this stuff. And I was like, but what is this going to do? And I think I mentioned this in my video. When it first came out, we didn't know much. How is it going to help the consoles? Well, I think they did kind of something a little bit ingenious, you know, with the whole slider, and it's elective. You can do what you want. So now it still will technically fit into the requirements put forth by Xbox Live, right? Do the next gens, or I guess are they current gens now? Do they have the restrictions? Do we know that on the transfer rate, whatever it is?
I haven't looked into it, honestly.
Yeah, because I remember they were saying they weren't going to have that, but obviously they're still designing for old gen, so they have to adhere to them. But I liked how they're going to make it so that, you know, technically they can say you could turn this all the way down and still fit under that threshold. So I'm not that techie. Is this going to see the same kind of an improvement on a console? It should, right? I mean, the old gen might not be able to handle it, correct? They're pretty much going to be stuck at 10. I mean, I don't...
Yeah,
they don't have the processing power. I don't see how...
Yeah, I don't figure that old gen is last gen or whatever you want to call it is going to see much improvement from all this. But I think next gen might have the technology. It just depends on how they decided to go ahead and implement their networking cards that are in there, and they might have the capabilities just because they were prepping for well, at least on Xbox One, they were very much prepping for cloud computing and stuff. So that technology might be in there to go ahead and get those faster tick rates in. But again, I haven't looked into it, so I can't say that that's fact.
And I mean, you can assume maybe for a 5v5 competitive, you know, domination versus 64. You know, there's obviously variance within the game too. But yeah, at first I was afraid there wasn't going to be much improvement for consoles and to be SOL, but it seems like a lot of it should go in there. You know, if nothing else, the explosions, the explosive shaking or whatever that stuff, should all help you guys. But it's
they
really
just turn off Levolution.
Wow. They did that on China Rising and it didn't help, but yeah, to me it's all about the network. It's just all about the connections, and I wish they would let us kind of limit, instead of admins kicking people, servers, but I don't think we're ever going to get that though. So has anybody seen what they're, you know, now that they're sitting here talking about what's shipping out is the tick rate and the screen shake and all that is supposedly going to be patched in. What they're turning their attention to now, that I've only just recently come up on this because I've been a little AFK with my whole PC build and everything, is now they're going to balancing guns, which I was a little leery on, but because balance, you know, there's always something that's OP and there's always something that's not, and it just shuffles around. But they're literally looking at changing the damage model. They're looking at, basically what they're saying now is, now that the bullets are all registering, you're going to die quicker. So they're going to get rid of one-hit kills, buggy one-hit kills. Now you're going to get 1 second kills, because legit 1 second kills. And I've experienced that. So on the CTE. And again, it's going to be, you're upping the skill gap. So the better players are going to be doing it consistently. And every bullet's going to reg. You're going to die really quick. And it's not going to be a one-hit kill or bug. It's going to just be, you got destroyed, you know, and that AEK just ripped you apart.
Yep.
And they're saying that now, which is the theory I had, a worry I had. So can you 7 months in change the damage model? I just think that's going to do all kinds of screwy stuff. What do you guys
I
think?
wouldn't touch it. I'd leave it. I honestly would. At this point,
I think at this point, what could go wrong? And I know a lot could go wrong. That's probably not the best question. If they're doing this on the CTE and they can implement this damage model change on CTE and just
Ahead
test
of time,
see
sure.
how it goes, what's the worst that could happen in this test environment? If it
Well, I think
fails,
that's what it's for. Sure.
they don't implement it.
yeah, just don't. That was a mistake. Let's not do that. But
And I mean, they're doing that with some of the things. I mean, even now I'm looking at the patches that they're putting in, and then what they're leaving out. I mean, that's the great thing about the CTE is they can do whatever they want,
Right.
as long as the players understand. Which some of them obviously
No, they
don't.
don't read the forums. Yeah.
But as long as the players understand that this is a test environment, you're not in here to play the game and
right.
Get the freaking
Don't
stats.
cry at me about your KD. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're here to be a help to the team and to get these features implemented, or to get your feedback on the features so that we can either say yep they're going in, or nope they're staying out,
Or to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they balance the gun based on a certain hit reg net code. I'll use all the cliche terms. They fine tuned them based on what they were playing and experiencing. That is going to change dramatically, and now it's not just the AEKs. The Scar H's are going to destroy.
They are. Oh my god!
And everybody talks about Bad Company 2 had 16 damage per bullet. Well, then you had Magnum ammo on top of that, so it wasn't as big a difference. And it's just like, now I'll be on record. I'm okay with hiring the time to kill. I like a slower kill. It allows the better players to play. I'm all for that, but I don't know if you can do that on the fly. And I guess the CTE, it's not so on the fly. If they could do it right, I'd welcome it. But I just worry because, what happens when you take 5 bullets to kill now? Say, standard AR, right? Well, now let's look at the Scar H or the lower mag weapons that need the extra bullet or two to kill. Now suddenly their 25 round mags are really bad. It's not competitive. It's not. I just think there's going to be all these trickle down issues that, as much as I'd love to see it, I just don't know. I just don't know how you can do that.
As long as my tank is still one-hit kill.
I'm sure they'll get around to that at some point, and somebody will whine loud enough they'll change something.
I don't know. I feel that the weapons, except for maybe a couple, are pretty much balanced. I like them. I mean, I think the AWS. I'm not going to go out and say it for me that the AWS needs to be nerfed a little bit, but a lot of people think that.
I think it's come back in line a lot more than it was.
Well, I'll tell you what, the AWS is not as good in the CTE as it is in the retail. I'll tell you that right now. The thing about the CTE, for the most part, it's all about rate of fire. And the AEK is,
right,
and the FAMAS, and then the higher power guns like the Scar H are just brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I'm fine with guns not all being balanced, though. I like the challenge of taking a underpowered gun and trying to have a good game with it. And
exactly.
It adds
you want them to be close. You don't want this.
No, not necessarily. If a gun's terrible, there's a reward to doing well with it and having. I'll put a suppressor on the M40 and run around. And
for me, I don't care. And I don't get upset if I just get killed by Ace 23s over and over, or a Scar. It doesn't bother me what other people run. I don't care. I don't blame But obviously, you'd hear people bitch, and I think from a theoretical standpoint, you want balance. You're never going to get balance. It's just never going to be fully balanced. But again, guys are saying glass full, glass empty. I would love them to raise the time to kill. I'm saying that again, just to reiterate. It would help me out tremendously. I like that they're going to look at it, and like Puppy said, maybe just throw a bunch of things against the wall and see what happens. I mean, they're talking about lowering suppression again. I don't think that's necessary. We think I'm not.
I don't think
suppression.
The suppression in Battlefield 4 is nothing compared to what it was in BF3. For Christ's sake, I mean, I don't think suppression is an issue at all in Battlefield 4.
I didn't know that many people thought it was, to be quite honest.
Yeah, me neither.
But they're looking at lowering that now. It's like, I don't know, to me, it's all like the sensitivity adjustments and stuff. I didn't know that was an issue, and now I'm like, I go on a CTE. I don't even know how to dial my settings in right now. I'm like, I got to come back and do this again. I can't do this.
It took me 3 days to figure out.
That's what I mean. I don't have time for that right now because I had a whole new. I didn't even have my because the new PC, I didn't have my base BF4 set up, so I can't do this, or I went right back out. So they're obviously doing things that to me weren't on the radar, but not a bad thing. It's just like I didn't know suppression was a problem. So I'm just kind of shocked to see them. I mean, weapon damage model is like one of the fundamental elements of your game, and now you're I think you have to re-examine it, because now you're changing your hit reg, which is probably the other fundamental issue of your game, and they might as well just call it Battlefield 4.5 when they're done, because it's not going to be the same, which is great. It's just, it makes me nervous, but I guess that is what the CTE is for, so I don't know.
I'm glad that they're working on the screen shake thing, though, because that is frustrating to me. I cannot stand it.
Well,
I wish they'd get rid of just the explosives more than the screen, but yeah.
Skill gap compression, you know, taking away the skill gap. And, you know, if players can maintain good aim with, you know, without the screen shake, that's an advantage, and so you handicap good players that have good aim, and that's a whole nother discussion. But,
yeah. So, Ivan, did you guys want to touch on anything else in the CTE? Or anything else of note? I know you guys don't have hands-on, but, you know, anything that you're looking forward to, or something you're not? Because
I'm just interested to see how they take it, and if they do start really just throwing noodles against the wall and seeing if they stick. If they do take that route, I will be very impressed, and I'll be excited and happy about it. You know, because sure, it may be a while before what you're seeing on CTE might make it to me, because obviously it's going to have to actually get approved, and they'll say, all right, this works, and then they're going to have to go ahead and port it over into Xbox form. But at the same time, you know, it's getting tested somewhere. I really don't have many complaints about that, you know, and it's actually the community that's got their hands on it, so it's not just, you know, their little QA team or whoever it is that they have. It's
definitely steps in the right direction for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if they keep it up with the same thing, and if they continue it back into Hardline and everything else, you know, can't go wrong with it. I mean, you look at countless other video games out there that have been doing test servers for ages, and nobody's got any complaints about it. So
no. Well, I just think it's a perfect environment. I explained that in one of my videos. You got so many different people, so many different places in the world with different hardware, software configurations that the developers are able to look into the servers and run debug on the servers and get all this data that otherwise they wouldn't be able to produce in-house. You can't simulate it in-house. It's just impossible. So to me, I think it's just a great idea. It really is.
Yeah.
Now, whether they implement it properly, that's the other story. But,
I think until we see the changes actually hit production, it's hard to trust them. Like it's almost like they're going to keep stringing us out until Hardline comes out. I wouldn't exactly put it by them, but I don't think we're too worried about that. But Fats, you got anything?
No, carry on.
All right, well then let's carry on to DragonsTeeth. We'll touch on that a little bit, because honestly, like, I've almost forgotten about DragonsTeeth at this point, because there's just so much other information coming out on all these other things. You know, I'm hyped for this. This is my DLC in theory, I guess. You know, urban, close quarter, infantry, you know, all these things. So I'm on board, and it sounds like it's coming pretty quick. A lot of people are expecting the guns to be on Tuesday, frankly, I think. What early summer, I think, is what they said officially on the website. So June would fit right in there. So I would say
June would be
and the way they 2-week delay it, you look at first 2 weeks in June possibly for premium. So I mean, I think it's coming pretty quick. So this, I feel like I say this with every DLC. This could be, especially when now you're piling on Hardline, it could be a pretty big DLC for them. You know, to win, they could deliver the CTE improvements and deliver an Aftermath style DLC or Aftermath favored DLC. Yeah. That could be a huge upswing going into fall. What do you guys think? Before we get into details, Puppy.
I'm excited, dude. And you know what? Like, okay, I made a fool out of myself on some forums because I didn't read any descriptions.
Oh, that's right. I caught you.
I'll call myself out. It's okay. I make mistakes. I'm okay with admitting that. And I had no idea, honestly, that DragonsTeeth was taking the Aftermath approach. And having learned that, and honestly, I still haven't watched a lot of videos on it just because I want it to be a surprise. I want it to be, you know, like that genuine, like, oh, yeah. But I have heard some of the things that have been, trickle down effect, word of mouth. People just up and, oh, did you hear this is going to be in DragonsTeeth? The Desert Eagle is coming, and I am so happy about this. I am glad that they are finally able to suspend reality long enough to add this gun into the game. I really am. I understand that this is like highly impractical for military purposes, but it's just a beautiful gun, and it sounds awesome, and they're giving me the model to use, and yes, I am happy about this. So, yay, DragonsTeeth.
Feds, what are you thinking? You're chatting away? I see. I'm watching you.
Yeah, we're having a suppression discussion over here.
I know. I was trying to. We could talk about that one a lot longer. I was trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, I am too.
What are your thoughts on DragonsTeeth?
I don't care. I mean, whatever.
Now, let me. I'm not trying to alienate it. Yeah. Are you playing TF more or Battlefield 4 more at this point?
No, Battlefield more. Okay. But it's I don't really get into speculation about future DLC. I will wait and see what it's all about. Yeah. I don't mind speculating on a future game like Hardline, where we have a very thorough video with a lot of details that are new. But DragonsTeeth is Battlefield 4, and they can add all kinds of fun things. I wish they'd add game modes. They can do whatever they're going to do, but if they can't fix the game and the connections, and then ultimately it really doesn't matter. Now, like I was saying, on Xbox One, ever since the server upgrade, Battlefield's been pretty decent. Like, it's playable. It's rage-inducing at times with connections issues, but it's by and large a lot better, which makes me excited for DragonsTeeth, for new stuff. But I've missed this huge window of Battlefield playing Titanfall, so I'm not bored with it yet. I'm not sick of it. I'm not like, oh, I need DragonsTeeth for this to stay fresh.
Right.
I don't even know the map names of the DLC we have.
I don't either.
I don't know if I know them either. I don't think I know one. If I thought about it, I could, but I don't. Who cares?
I'm like Buffy. I haven't watched a lot of it because I wanted it to be something kind of fresh and new for them.
They're not coming to mind, but that's because I got 8,000 things coming. But yeah, I don't really know them.
I'm not like desperate for DragonsTeeth, so it's fine. It'll be cool. I have premium, so when it gets here, I'll play it. But I'm still rocking vanilla and having a good time as far as that goes.
All right, so I kind of want to go through this a little quick. I mean, I guess as this approaches, maybe I'll dedicate another because I do want to get some of the other topics. But ballistic shield, are we nervous?
I'm excited.
Yeah, are you trolling me?
No, I'm excited. So you watch my videos.
Yeah.
For me, like, teamwork is everything on our team. That's a huge aspect of what we do, and that's an advantage, especially in pub play. Teamwork advantage.
So it's a tool for you. Then.
So putting the ballistic shield in our hands will be fun. Yeah. I hope.
I happen to agree. It all depends on the execution. Obviously, it's the caveat with everything we're going to discuss here. You mentioned Ninja Squad. So yeah, I definitely thought about that. Yep. Punisher, what do you think? I'm going to kind of go quickly on these topics to see what you guys.
I don't have any issues with it.
Wait and see, probably.
Well, no, it's not even that. If I think there are situations where we, like Lockers and Metro, where you got the freaking spam hordes with the, air bursts and the nades. I think there's going to be instances like that where this, blast shield's going to be nice. You're going to be able to get up the stairs and penetrate, whereas before it was, nearly impossible unless you had a really good squad. But yeah, I'm for it. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby?
I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I don't. And it's partially because of my playstyle and stuff. I'm against it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, from the things I've seen on Civ, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that powerful. I think it's going to be like anything in Battlefield. It's going to depend on whose hands it's in. I mean,
to me, it's enough to wreck my playstyle. I am very much a run and gunner, up in your face, constantly pushing forward. In fact, my controller is starting to break in such a way to where my movement stick is stuck in the forward position on occasion. Like, literally, I can let go of the controller and it'll just keep on running forward. That's how much I run forward. I guess I've worn a groove in it or something. And if I run into a dude with a riot shield, I'm screwed, because I'm going to dump every bullet I got in my mag at him in an attempt to do something.
It's like one extra burst, though. It's like we're hearing 100, 150 damage.
We
don't know, but
I could be wrong, but I think it's going to mess me up bad. I really
It's gonna
do.
take some getting used to. That's for sure.
Yeah. I
They're-
think it'll be a learning curve. Initially, people will be
You'll be
frustrated
pulling
with
off people. Yeah.
it. Yeah, and then you'll figure out how to get around it, and everything will be normal.
And then I'm going to touch on the new assault rifle, just because it kind of ties into what we're talking about, the hit reg, time to kill. They're adding another high damage assault rifle, the Bulldog. And all indications are it's going to be about 700 rate of fire, a higher rate of fire. I have to imagine it's going to have tons of spread. It's a bullpup, so it's probably going to have good mobility, good hip fire, CQB, high damage. This makes me nervous now that we know what CTE is coming too. So this could be quickly alpha gun. I mean, I don't know, unless they give it like a 21 round mag. But how do you give a CQB gun? I don't know. It's going to be in the nuts and bolts, I guess. Makes me a little nervous. The CTE wasn't coming. I was like, all right, well, here's how we could balance this out. But you're throwing that hand grenade in the whole mix with the CTE and the reg changes. This could be the new gun. I mean, what do you guys think? I know you haven't, but imagine Scar H with a higher rate of fire, a little more spread, but spread doesn't matter because it's for CQB maps. So, what are you guys thinking?
I think it's going to depend on rate of fire and just your ability to control the recoil. Even in close quarters, I mean, you're still going to have those medium range encounters, and
they've done pretty good with that in Battlefield 4.
Yeah. I think that. I don't know. I don't really see it as an issue. I still think people are going to fall back to the AEK and the FAMAS, and I mean the AEK right now, in my opinion, is probably the strongest gun in the game as far as close quarters goes. When you're playing those maps, I think you're going to see, people will probably try the new gun, do what they need to do to unlock everything, and then they'll fall back on what they've been playing the whole time anyway. So that's the way I think.
What do you guys got?
Well,
I haven't really looked into it too much. Yeah, I haven't paid enough attention. This is honestly the first I'm hearing that they're having a high rate of fire rifle. I guess I'm okay with it. Did you mention what the rate is going to be at?
I want to say 700. Does that ring bells? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. It's higher than Scar H, which I think is 620. I think the 52 I think is 650. So it's not like 800 rounds per minute, but it's for that damage model, it's going to up its time to kill quite nicely. So
to me, I guess I'm okay with 700, but it's coming from a guy that rocks the FAMAS regularly. So,
right.
To me, that doesn't scream like it's going to be anything to really worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it'll come out and it'll be overpowered, so they can sell more premium memberships.
Oh, yeah. We all know that.
After everyone gets it, they will balance it out with the rest of the guns, and we'll move on.
I'm ready to couch it. Yeah, all right, cool. We'll move on from that. Those are the three big topics. Unless you guys got anything you wanted to add on DragonsTeeth before I wrap that up. I'm just trying to think of which ones we should hit here. I guess we'll touch on the division. We could do that quick. It was delayed again since we did mention it. Delayed into 2015. We all kind of knew that was coming, right? I mean, if you guys haven't been paying attention to it at all, we knew it wasn't coming.
I think every game Ubisoft has ever put out has been delayed. I mean, it's their mantra. It's the way it is.
And they just announced like a month ago they finished the engine. It's like, yay, we finished the engine. You just finished the engine? Now we can start building the game, and I mean, come on. I think they knew that everybody knew, so this is like the worst kept secret in the world, but I'm with Puppy, though. Delay it all you need to, as long as you deliver what you're showing. But tone the hype down a little.
I think it was Scanner. I was watching one of Scanner's video, and Scanner brought up a really good point, though, because it is being developed by, or funded, bankrolled by Ubisoft anyway. We saw the same kind of beauty in Watch Dogs at E3, and look at what we got.
Yep.
So, I kind of am taking his line here, and that I am a little wary after what has happened to Watch Dogs as to what is going to happen with the division. However, like you said, to me, they can launch this thing in 2018. If it looks like what they showed, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. See, I just like the concept. I just like the concept of the game more than I like Watch Dogs. I mean, obviously, it's beautiful, and if I was more hinged on the graphics, I would be nervous. But I just like the concept of the game. Like, I like the idea. So, but I've also avoided videos, trailers, because I'm like, why am I going to get hyped up about this right now? Like, what's the point? It's clear this game is not anywhere near, and so
yeah, I've been trying to avoid the hype.
It's not worth it. Like, why get yourself all worked up? So, and like I said, if it came out in 2015, I'd be surprised almost. You know, so obviously they're going to aim for holiday. You know, that's all the way to fall because they're not going to release it in between. So you're looking late 2015 at the earliest, which I guess you could do. As long as you just don't want you to rush it, don't force it. So
right,
yeah, just put out a quality product, we'll all be happy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's as long as it's a good game. Whenever it comes out, it doesn't really matter. So let's talk a little bit since we're on Twitch. The rumor that Google YouTube is buying Twitch. So I don't know. What are you guys thinking about this? This is a little outside of gaming, but it clearly affects gaming. It's for $1 billion, which does anybody else think that's low?
No.
I think it's low.
$1 billion is a lot.
That's a lot of damn money.
What did
That's
they
a lot
buy?
of change,
But
man.
what did they buy YouTube for? What, 10 years ago? 700 million? Or no, what was YouTube? 1.6 or something? I don't know. I don't remember. I had it. This is now a little dated news, obviously, but maybe somebody in the chat can tell me. So
I think YouTube is still a bigger venue, though. I mean,
Oh,
because
yeah,
you
yeah.
got- Twitch is so just game centric.
it's-
Or YouTube does everything.
I think Twitch is bogged down by infrastructure upgrade needs and potential legal issues.
oh yeah, the legal is the big thing.
And I don't think it's really that exciting of a purchase for Google. It's probably more.
It's extension.
It's it's buying up a competitor. That their biggest competitor with what they're doing really is
Creators Cast, right? No, yeah, I that's why I think it's a good marriage. I mean, because who can handle copyright? Who can handle it? They kind of have the best idea, best ability to handle that. And I think that's once they get bought for $1 billion, these people are going to take notice of it a lot more, and I think they're going to see a lot more issues popping up. So that's why I was saying on Twitter, if you're a streamer and you got copywritten music on you better go back in there and start getting that,
Clean
get
it out.
Get it out.
Yep.
So I've never done it, even though I know they look the other way and they don't really. But someday it's gonna happen because it's clear it's against the rules. So I thought it was kind of crazy, and especially I don't know if you guys pay attention to sports too much. We're seeing the Clippers being sold for $2 billion to
yeah.
1.65 billion in 2006 for YouTube.
1.6. So yeah, you'd think I don't know. I don't know the analytics of the views and view time, and obviously I think. At the time, YouTube they weren't profitable, I don't think, and I don't think they had much of a monetization plan at that point. So there's a lot of similarities there, but I just kind of thought it would have been more. But now we're seeing a sports team, a 1/30th share of the NBA, which is pretty goddamn desirable. It doesn't matter what team you are, with assets, and an established brand for $2 billion, So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting, the price. At first, I'm like, that doesn't sound. But I guess it's all cash too, which that goes a long way.
They made a comment about that earlier. Ballmer will never make his money out of that because
I'm talking about Twitch. I'm back on Twitch, but yeah.
Yeah. But Twitch, I don't think it's going to. I think that they're going to end up somehow or another turning Twitch into their YouTube live stream. They're going to incorporate it with that because I think they saw that Twitch was a direct competitor with their live streaming capability.
Twitch
on
killed
YouTube.
their live streaming.
Yeah. And so Google's like, we're going to buy this up, and then we're going to kind of turn it into what we wanted it originally anyway.
Just plug it in right in here.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that because
It's all about buying a competitor. It's not acquiring technology. It's acquiring a brand, and it's eliminating a competitor.
I said it.
Yep.
PewDiePie ran out of new subs. They needed a user base. They gotta feed Pewds. They gotta feed them.
And then on top of that, it's inevitable that they're going to incorporate Google Plus into it somehow.
It's not though.
I think they're giving up on
destroying
Google
Plus.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's inevitable. They might.
They're gonna leverage it for sure for something. I just don't know if it's gonna be Google Plus. So I think we might see the end of Google. Google Plus is probably just be remade into something else. Is basically what's gonna happen. But
why can't we just Google buy Facebook and be done with it?
See, I'm gonna go on record here. I think the Google Plus thing did help comments. I think once the dust is settled, I think it hasn't been that terrible. But I
haven't.
I'm not a huge YouTuber that had to face all that, but it's frustrating when I go to reply to a guy who doesn't have a Google Plus account and I can't reply to him, but I don't get, there is some accountability there now at least. So Let's see what else we got. Oh, I guess we'll kind of along the same ride. The Nintendo putting a Smackdown, and I don't know. Oof, it makes me nervous. It makes me curious. For those who don't know, Nintendo basically is saying if you want to post our gameplay footage, we want to cut. And
that's so ridiculous.
It's better than what they were doing.
Some way to make some money.
Well, that's what it is. That's
what they were doing. I mean, what they were doing was just saying, "Oh, you want to post our gameplay or our game?
We get it all." Yeah,
we want it all. I mean, at least now they're like, "All right, well, you can have some of it." To me, that's still kind of a douchey way to go about things.
It's short-sighted, I think. Yeah, I think.
But like. Honestly, though, if you look at the way things are kind of going on the YouTube as far as publishers ponying up on setting up these partnerships and stuff, you know, EA has got Ronku and all that. It's not going to be hard for them to kill you if you kill your YouTube channel if you say something they don't like anyway.
Well, that's what they said it is. It's all about. They only want people showing their footage of approved channels, and it basically means lockstep who we control. That's what it is. We don't want some guy telling people that it's terrible, because then they're gonna go, wait a minute, no, you're not, you no permission anymore, you're gone. So I'm more worried about that honestly than revenue sharing. Like is how they would then manipulate the voice. I guess we're clearly gonna see other publishers follow this trend. It's well, absolutely going to see it, but it's who I don't know.
I think to some degree we kind of already have a little bit.
But we've seen some, as much as everybody bitches and moans about Ronku and stuff. That's publishers harnessing it. That's incentivizing it. I'd rather see it go that direction.
Well, that's the opposite, though. I mean, Nintendo is not putting any weight into the fact that free promotion. They're not paying for it. YouTube's paying for it, and YouTube's making money on ads. Free promotion of their product through a very influential channel, YouTube, where subscribers are very loyal and trust the people that they're watching.
Guys, I'll be right back.
And they're taking this and saying, not only do we not see the value in this, we want to like either stop you or control you or take your money away from you. And what EA is doing is the opposite. It's saying we value what you do. We're going to give you more money for it. Just follow a few of our. If we're paying you extra, follow our guidelines.
Well, let's be clear. They're both trying to influence the voice. They're just taking different approaches. And Nintendo's just like, well, we can influence you and get money. They need money. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know how big it is. I don't play Nintendo. I don't follow Nintendo YouTubers, so I don't know what I'm missing or how big it is. So, I have a feeling they're just crippling what could be a very influential.
I wouldn't be shocked if in a year or two we see them go back on this, frankly. I think it's short-sighted, like you said. I think free advertisement in a passionate way, that's where people go to look for this stuff now, and it's not going to be there as much. It's just not going to be as viable. It's just not. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. I was like, I mean, obviously it's fair. It's their right to do it. Like Puppy's saying, I guess it's better than blocking it outright or taking all the revenue outright, but I don't know.
Venom is saying Activision does the same thing.
How so?
Yeah, I've never.
I don't know.
Do they?
Do they even have a?
Actually, I have heard from at least some of the comp players that they do that to some degree, where they're forced to say nice things about the game. Otherwise, you're gone.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if that really was on a not a quid pro quo, but like blatant, it would be more of a shitstorm. And I mean,
I don't know, because a lot of those guys, especially in that particular scene, are more about money than they are.
Now, are you talking about the contract pro players?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we're not talking about just monetizing videos. You're talking about a guy with a contract. I mean, you're an ambassador for that brand. Yeah,
you're getting paid
different. That's different. You're an employee of them. Yeah, I mean that's basically what you are. I could see that. That would make I would put that in a contract if I was Activision, frankly. If I'm going to pay you this money, I don't want you bad-mouthing it. I think that probably definitely happens, Frank. I know that's been a big thing in League of Legends, actually, for these guys. There's they're not allowed to stream other games, and you're an employee. I mean, what do you want me to? What are you going to do? So, I think. Well, I guess we got time for one more. we're not going to talk about nobody's played Watch Dogs, right? I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, so it's kind of like I don't have anything to say about it.
You know what?
It looks fun.
We might as well talk about that. Go
It
for
looks good, but I kind of like refuse to be a beta tester for.
I was gonna say it looks like a game I'll pick up on a Steam sale eventually, maybe, you know. But there's not too many games I buy at full price anymore, so that's not really a bad thing against it. But
I don't think that's a bad thing against it to begin with, and I think, the gaming market is going to fight realizing this for a long time. In fact, I just saw a tweet today. I can't remember who it's by. Oh, memory's not going to come back to me. Sorry about that one. But basically, it was a game developer that had said that the day of $30 games is gone. You're not going to see that anymore, and it's a bygone era. And to me, I think what a lot of these devs they're failing to realize is that single player based games are really only worth about $30. If it's really good, I'll pay 40. But I'm not going to buy it for 60. I'm sorry.
about how long? Yeah, how long you can play it?
Yeah,
Almost per hour enjoyment.
To me, that's what it's worth.
Well, Skyrim or a GTA, okay. You know where I have this. Go ahead.
Multiplayer games generate buzz. You want to play when your friends are playing. You want to be in at the beginning and start leveling up. And they can justify extracting full price easily. Single player, I've got a bunch of single player games I've never played, and I'll go buy those used or cheap or whatever I can and on sale, and wait for the current games to get older and cheaper. And yeah, you hear a lot of devs talking a lot of tough talk about game prices, but the market will determine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
why I was hesitant to buying Wolfenstein.
It was a Bulletstorm developer, by the way.
Yeah, it
Somebody
sounds
caught me
great.
in chat. Thank you.
I mean, Wolfenstein right now, you know, as of right now, is a single player game. I don't want to go spend $60.
it's getting good reviews too. Like it's a good single player game from what I'm hearing. But to me, and this is me, I lose interest in single player games. They don't hold me. They don't. You know, GTA's and the Skyrims are the ones that do it the most. But even then, I'm just like, it's not worth it for me. It's just not. And I think I do know that I can get it cheaper down the line. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't have time to play the games I want to play right now, so what do I need another one for? So,
well, you're probably a lot. You know, I played mostly for the social interaction, playing with friends. Like Minecraft, I never played till multiplayer became more prevalent, and this is an example.
Yeah,
single player just is boring to me. I like.
See, I'm the opposite of Minecraft. I'll go play by down in some mine shaft somewhere. But that's why I play that game, is to chill out, get away. You know, so. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I mean. To me, it's more a challenge. Like, fighting bots of any type just gets boring to me. Like, it's just eventually you figure out how to do it, and okay. You shoot so many AI, it's just it's not so fun. Like, that's how I am. But then again, I'm a guy that played like Black Ops bots matches for hundreds of hours, probably. Back in the day. So, feel like Rambo. So. I guess we got about 15 minutes left till we hit the 2-hour mark, so I'll open it to chat if they have any questions. We have a couple other things, but, I mean, I got Advanced Warfare. I can't think of a single thought about that game right now, because with everything else going on. And then we have the Star Wars concept images, but I don't know if you guys even looked at those yet, and chat hasn't really, and I can't really link them appropriately, so I don't want to do it. Dota 2, anybody pay attention to that, with the International hitting $7 million?
Did they hit 7 now? I thought
7 now. They just hit 7. No, they just hit 7.
Holy cow.
I've talked about this in every podcast for the last month, because it's just whether you pay attention to Dota 2 or League or not, that's 7 million. A player from the winning team is going to walk home. I think somebody said it with over 700K.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's awesome. Frankly, it's insane.
I don't understand why. I just wish that games that we play could do that. League of Legends and Dota 2 are huge, man. Just freaking.
Well, CSGO is going to follow the same method, obviously.
Couldn't they do that, though? I mean, wasn't it just, it was a crowd-funded thing, and it was a crowd set-up thing, was it not?
I will start to, they're selling, and here's the thing, the 7 million, somebody maybe can look this up, but I'm going to just throw a number out there to give you scale. 7 million is the prize pool. I think they said Valve revenue on this is like 50. Like, Valve has made, maybe it's not that, let's say 20, still plenty. They've made tons of money themselves. They're selling a compendium, which is like, it's almost like a coupon book for other shit. You know, like you get like little, things. It's nothing that's costing them to produce. They design one and then you just copy it, So they're laughing themselves to the bank even more, and then they're getting good PR out of it. It's like a win for Valve. It's just ridiculous, and we're gonna see. They've said CS:GO is gonna do the same thing, and I think obviously Valve is just smart. They're just fucking smart. They're just 8 steps ahead of people, and
they always have been.
It helps when you have that player base, don't get me wrong, but there's no reason Call of Duty couldn't do this. There's no reason Battlefield, it won't reach 7 million, but there's no reason this couldn't happen. You know, think about if they came up with like a skin, like a camo that was a fanatic camo in Battlefield 4. Like you buy this, you chip in, and now you got this camo to represent who you're. I mean, maybe I don't want them to commercialize that much. I'm just throwing something off the top of my head, but you know, there's ways, an emblem on your gun or something, because League kind of does this with little avatar things and stuff. So, I don't play Dota 2. I know a bunch of the guys do. I play it a little bit just to kind of get an idea of it. I love League. I pay attention, but I'm gonna watch this because
it's just a lot of money.
$7 million. Like I want to see. No offense, but I want to see how these nerds deal, and there's $7 million on the line. You know?
Could you imagine the pressure?
I want to see Rage.
God.
Yeah. Could you? I don't play League because I can't handle the pressure on normal servers. Like just the rage at me in chat. I can't deal with it. I got enough stress in my life. I don't need to sit down and deal with that. This guy's playing for $700K. Oh, it's awesome. I'll watch that for sure. So. I think this is like one of the stories of the year, honestly, for me. You know, like this is, we talked about it last with the competitive guys, and it's just like you need this rocket to kind of meteoric rise up there to pull everything else, and this is just one of those things. It's just gonna, the media is just gonna be all over this when the time comes. It's gonna be good for everybody. You know, it's gonna trickle down, but where's it gonna stop? I mean, the events. I want to say the event is in July, so they got time. I mean, I guess eventually you're gonna dry up the pool, but. It's insane.
Honestly, I don't know how much they I think that number is going to keep going up. If is it still going? I mean, the donations are still
it's slowed down, obviously, but it's still it's not like planked. I mean, it's going. I mean, what did we talk? We talked 2 weeks ago, and it was 6. So you know, 10 million, I think, is definitely doable.
Yeah. And it's going to be a blowout event, too. Because you know everybody... There's people that are picking that game up right now that have never played it before just for a shot.
I have one. I bought one. What have I got? 10 hours in the game? I mean, I've against bots, but I want to be a part of this.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's a part of me that wants to support it, too. You know, hey, that sounds cool. It was like 2 million when I bought, but why not? I'll chip in a little. It was like $4 or $7.
I don't even know what that game is.
It's League of Legends. It's just the same idea. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see this on CS:GO, different genre type games. Obviously, see how that works. So I like the idea, it gets your player base and your fans invested. You know, like they're part of the event now. And like I said, I'll watch it. So I haven't watched chat like I was gonna. I don't know if anybody asked the question because you get me talking about a lot of money and MOBAs. I get distracted. So
somebody Venom. Asked, he said he heard that IGN or Activision bought IGN Pro League, and whether it was true or not.
I'm not familiar with what the IGN Pro League is, but I mean, I'm just gonna say League of Legends. Riot owns that league. I mean, I think actually that's a better way to go. The publisher supporting a league.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure there probably could be conflict. I'm not exactly. It's not coming to mind what he thinks is conflict of interest. So I mean, it just specify in the chat. I mean, I think one of the biggest problems with Battlefield 4 is that DICE doesn't support anything competitive. Like they don't do anything.
They wanted to, and then I think they got derailed by their.
Yeah, perhaps. But I mean, you look at Activision; they host that huge tournament every year, and it's an event. People watch. I don't play the game. I haven't played the game in 3 iterations, but I watch that event.
Yeah.
You know, it's I think you're right. I think they would have if the game came out, it was perfect, and all they had to do was rebalance some guns. Then we would have seen a lot more effort elsewhere. But you know.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have thrown a lot of money at that, but I know they definitely had more plans to support it than they have. So.
Yeah, well, anything's better than nothing. I keep clicking on you guys. But we're at that 6-month mark, right? So that means Battlefield 4 is the biggest competitive game ever, right? Isn't it about 6 months
At least
now?
in accordance to one person.
So. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with a little... I mean, we covered some territory here. I think it's because I wasn't drinking.
Yep.
Nobody's really drinking, so no, it's good talks. Chat, thanks for coming out. It's been steady all night. I've been kind of watching it, so seen some faces pop in and out. It's always nice. How does it, Punish? You said you just did DRB the other night, so yes. And Fets, how was your first live podcast?
Good, man, good. Thank you.
You look tired though. I'm not gonna lie. I saw you talking about the baby in the chat, so I understand that. I definitely get that. I'm not envious at all. No, I'm done with those days, but enjoy them though. They go fast. So there's your pro tip of the day.
Way too fast.
Yeah, man. But yeah, thanks Punisher, Feds. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it, man. We'll have you back on. It's always fun to talk, and you guys are knowledgeable. We'll try to find a more console-specific one. I know CTE was a little different. Maybe we'll get Mr. Corrupt in with you guys. I'll let the banter flow with Fets, and you guys can just pick on each other back and forth. I'll have to find a cam girl to put on the webcam.
He will literally sit there and bitch about lock-on weapons for an hour and a half.
No skill weapons.
I'll invite like a fifth guest, and we'll just
put skill gap compression on your topic list for that, man. I'll go off.
You'll do that, and he'll do the rockets. So just don't talk about those. And Puppy, thank you like always for coming and hanging out. Thanks, Chad. Thanks for coming out. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna come back live, and we can just bullshit. You guys are free. You're dismissed if you'd like to, but I'm gonna hang out for a little while. But where's the button? There you go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out.